All right, we're back here. Brandon Rhymes Consumer Quarterback Show. Jennie Restrepo coming up in just a moment. Insured Title Agency. We're going to talk about this contract, this clause in the contract called force majeure. What does that mean? It's an act of God. And we had, of course, an act of God recently with this storm that came through, the hurricane coming through and affecting a lot of people. How does that relate into the world of contracts? Coming up with Jennie Restrepo. Also, later on, we have Alex Black Belt Lima on the program as well. A couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, one of your top Keller Williams teams here in Tampa Bay, a top 100 team as well. Featuring our listings live on air. The strategy works. We sell faster than most teams, higher list price to sell price ratio, and we can help you sell faster for more money. 3416 Crepe Myrtle Drive. This one's in Hernando Beach. We got a great opportunity for you to own a waterfront property, Hernando Beach, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath. 1864 square feet, and you have a double lot here, lots of pavers, fireplace, and you also have a fire pit out there, as well as a private boat dock with bay access, completely remodeled and updated. Beautiful home that is also staged right now, so it's set up perfectly for a short-term rental. 3416 Crepe Myrtle Drive, Hernando Beach, and one of our hot listings that we have up in Hernando County. We also have land for sale, 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. We've got 23 acres on the Little Manatee River, bay access, build townhomes, condos. Maybe you want to build an RV park here. 23 acres on the river, bay access, Little Manatee River, and the Gulf of Mexico. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. You can see all of our 55-plus listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
All right, Jennie Restrepo, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
My pleasure. Let's talk about this. You know, when storms come through, it causes major issues. You got to get these insurance re-inspections. Sometimes the lender's going to want to see photos. And then you also said, hey, let's talk about force majeure today.
Yes, so obviously we're at the beginning of hurricane season, and we just had here in Tampa Bay a close call with Hurricane Idalia. So what does force majeure mean when you're under contract? Well, obviously, an act of God, as you mentioned. So a storm, a fire, anything like that can be considered force majeure, and it's a way for the buyer to be able to back out of the contract and for the buyer to have some special protections. And so how does that work? Well, if the house, let's say you're under contract to buy the house, and the house actually gets knocked down by the hurricane, flooded, or has damage, the buyer can actually back out of the contract and still get their escrow refunded.
Yeah, and we see that happen. You see the challenges. You see insurance as well. The lenders are looking at, hey, we got to make sure that the asset's still intact, and you can't bind any insurance policies once the hurricane or the storm, tropical depression, is in the what they call the box, in the box. So that's a challenge for some people and some areas. We got, of course, a lot of flooding going on in Tampa Bay, and unfortunate situation. Also, you had another scenario that played out. Tell me about that one.
So in that situation, I got a call from an agent partner who said, hey, a friend of mine bought a house from someone who was selling it, the son of some parents that passed away. They did the deal on the sidewalk, and then they went and recorded everything.
Wow.
And I said, I'm sorry, what happened? And as it turns out, not only did they make a typo on this deed and have the wrong names on there, but did not use a title company, didn't even do a title search, didn't even do a public record search. And so as this all shakes out now, not only does this person, first of all, they had to do a corrective deed to actually put the correct names on the deed. Not sure who notarized it, but that person's notary seal should be revoked because the wrong people were signing. Secondly, without checking for any liens or anything against the property, they're now finding out that there were multiple second mortgages recorded against this that may or may not have been paid off. The person selling it was the son, so I said, well, did this actually go through probate? Because if it's not gone through probate, the son, even if it's the only son of these two married people, doesn't necessarily mean the son gets the property. So many problems with this. And then ultimately this man bought the land for $100. He's going to build a brand new construction house on it and then resell it. But without a warranty deed and without an owner's policy, he could build this house and then lose it right away.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's that's a textbook example of trying to do it on your own, making mistakes, not doing it properly, not having your due diligence in place. And then there's no mention of earnest money deposit. In a lot of these situations, you don't have the inspection clauses in there where you're going to have at least a certain amount of time to inspect it, and then the title search. Title search is a key element. We're talking with Jennie Restrepo here. Insured Title is the company. And we talk with Jennie about these different, you've heard these ongoing fraud stories. So you got to be really careful out there, be diligent. And in these situations, just be careful. You don't want to get into one of these situations where you're trying to do it on your own. And a lot of times that happens where you see for sale by owners or other scenarios. You also have a lot of fraud going on right now in the world of faking photography, people taking photography, posting it on Craigslist or other places and calling that a new advertisement, and then they'll have you mail in your deposit, certified funds only, or try to somehow get cash or certified funds from the unknowing victim. And then the victim will do that, and then you have, of course, a property that was never truly theirs in the first place to be able to rent it out. So, Jennie, I'm sure you've seen scenarios like that too.
All the scams. If you follow us on Facebook at Insured Title Agency, that's where I post all of these stories. There were some women that were using the for sale by owner function on Zillow, representing themselves as owners, which they were not, collecting escrow deposits via Venmo, and then ghosting the people as soon as they got that money.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me that one. That was crazy. So when it comes to escrow deposits, it needs to be held by a third party. It needs to be held by a title company. We use Insured Title a lot here in Tampa Bay, multiple Bay Area locations. Great company, great service, and it's a process. You don't want to send Venmo. You don't want to send money to someone's Venmo account. You're going to lose that money. You're not going to be able to get it back, and the authorities are just basically going to laugh at you and say that nothing we can do about that.
Unfortunately, I mean, our escrow account has a lot of legal guidelines. For example, commingling. We cannot commingle that money. So the escrow money is in a special separate account, completely separate from our operating expenses. We're audited on that. We have to keep accurate records of that escrow account. And essentially, we're holding that money, but it's not our money. We're holding it on behalf of the parties of the contract during the time of the contract, and then applying those funds as are needed by the terms of the contract. But none of that money goes to Insured Title Agency, so it's highly regulated as to what goes in that escrow account, and we are audited by our underwriters and by the state regularly to ensure that our escrow accounts are accurate and correct and reflect the correct amount of money that we should have, and then our operating expenses and budget where we pay for everything else totally separate. For us, they're actually at different banks.
Yeah, it's super important to make sure you're doing things the right way and you're working with the right people. Jennie Restrepo here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. They got great social media feed to it. She'll keep you abreast of a lot of these different scenarios that are playing out, what she's seeing over there as well. Insured-title.com is the website as well. So yeah, you want to be careful in those situations. Jennie, what else are you seeing out there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
what was the question?
In general, just what else are you seeing? How's the market treating you? What are you guys seeing out there?
The market is actually, it's looking good. Obviously, we're coming out of summer, and the biggest thing to just be aware of is as you're getting into real estate, any kind of transaction, like Brandon mentioned, make sure you do your due diligence and who you're working with, where your money is going, because wire fraud and mortgage payoff fraud are still huge in this area.
Yep, absolutely. All right, how do you want people to connect with you, Jennie?
Connect with us on all the socials. So at Insured Title Agency on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook really is where I put all the articles about things that are going on that you should be aware of, and it's all shareable. So agents that are listening, you see a story, share it with your clients and your contacts too.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Jennie, thank you so much. and have a wonderful day. I hope you feel better.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right. Coming back, taking a quick break here. Coming back, Alex Black Belt Lima, self-defense, current events, martial arts, and also Tucker's take. I got an interesting clip I'm going to play of Tucker on his take on the recent events with President Trump. More on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.